What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, taking a look at the new GG Archetype. So this was one of the Ignises in the VRAINS anime, which is my second favorite Yu-Gi-Oh anime. I have seen them all, and this one's actually, it was a really good character and really tragic, and it was really the most like dark anime series, I think, in the Yu-Gi-Oh series. But we'll take a look and see if his cards are any good. I know Crystal Heart was like originally like his card that he gave to one of the other Ignises, so we'll see how it kind of all works together. I like these anime ones. I think there's a lot of them from VRAINS that they haven't quite taken over, like some of the drone stuff. But what was really cool about I think the VRAINS anime more than anything is that it did bring a lot of like meta archetypes, at least for a while. You got Borreload Savage Dragon from there, which obviously is still used today. Trickstar, Altergeist, like maybe they're not too relevant today, but it was cool that like while the show was going on or around the same time, like the cards were good. But we'll take a look at this. This is Golem Rockhammer, level 6 Earth. I think he was the Earth Ignis, which makes sense. You can only use each of the first and second effects of this card once per turn. If this card is in your hand, you can discard one other Cyberus monster, reduce this card's level by 2 until the end of the turn. Interesting. You contribute this card, special summon 3 Golem tokens. You cannot special summon monsters for this turn except Cyberus monsters. So it is appropriately restrictive because 3 tokens is insane. I'm sure they're just used for link summoning, and that's how they kind of get around it. The Cyberus pool is still pretty big, but it's kind of nice because you can go into the Link 1 Lingaribo, which is kind of nice. You get a Trap Negate, and I'm not sure if you'd ever want to do that, but like I said, there's a lot of Cyberus Link monsters, so you technically, I don't think you're going to have to stay in this archetype at all. In fact, you could probably go into like, you could probably use this in Salamangreats, right? Got the Mirage Stalio. I don't know if that would work, but you do get the Link Summon a lot with those. Although, actually, I think they're Salamangreat monsters. Never mind. I don't think it's Cyberus. You know what? Now I have to look. Salamangreat Wolf. I don't think I spelled that right, but whatever. Is it Cyberus or Salamangreat monsters? 2 fire effect monsters. Interesting. Well, I'm assuming these are Earth. Although, is the Link 1 because then you could just make multiple of the Link 1, right? I forget what it's called now. Bay Links, right? Yeah. This is a level 4 or lower Cyber, so technically you can. I'm not saying you will. I'm obviously getting ahead of myself a little bit here, but I'm just trying to think outside of the box. Okay, this is Golem Pebble Dog. Level 2 Earth Cyber's effect. You can only use each of the first and second effects of this card once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add to your hand or special summon 1 GGolem Pebble Dog from your deck. Oh, a copy of itself. Also, you get a special summon monster for the rest of the turn except Cyberus monsters. So Link summoning ain't going to be too hard in this deck. It's also nice that it's also special summon. Again, very, just like I talked about earlier, I did a thing on Ice Jades, and all of those also had their effects on normal or special summon, which makes a huge difference. If this card is sent from hand to the graveyard, you can add 1 Golem card from your deck to your hand. Pretty cool. It doesn't have to be a monster. So you can add, if it's pitched off of Rockhammer, lots of really, really neat things there. So it's good that they're starting the archetype to be designed like around the cards already. A lot of these old archetypes, they just kind of pile them on top and try to make them work together. But in this, it's kind of like a cohesive design, from get-go. It's only 2 main deck monsters, of course. Golem Crystal Heart, okay, that's what I've kind of been talking about. You can target 1 Earth Link monster in your graveyard, special summon it to a zone this card points to, down, probably. And if you do, place 1 GG counter on this card. An Earth Link monster co-linked to this card gains 600 attack for each GG counter on it. Also, it can make 2 attacks during the battle phase. Very cool, it doesn't have to be on monsters. And if it attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. That makes me curious to know what the Earth Link scene looks like, right? Because potentially doing some really cool stuff. Is the link for, I can't remember what it's called. It's a link for, I may not be able to find it. Earth Yugioh. It's like Infinitrax or something like that. Is that an Earth or no? I may not be able to find it. I guess it's not a big deal. It is Earth. It's a machine, though. It's not Cybers, which makes sense. I was just trying to see. I mean, that's the biggest target I could think of that would be really cool for piercing battle damage, but that's obviously not going to happen. I wish it said like Earth monsters instead of Cybers, but I guess it makes sense because Crystal Heart was like she was the Water Ignis, so it's more important about Cybers monsters. I'm sure there's probably some decent Cybers things that you'd want to do piercing battle damage with, i.e., what's it called? Access Code Talker. Okay, this is Golem Stubborn Menhir. 2 Earth monsters, which is very easy. Very, very easy. You're getting a bunch of tokens. So really, this one card produces this. Oh, this is a link too. Interesting. Well, you need only one more card to get both of these. If this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can target 1 Earth monster. Oh, okay. And this brings it back. So, yeah, you only need that initial token. You can target 1 Earth monster that can be normal summoned in your graveyard, add it to your hand, or special summon it, but its effects are negated. Also banish it when it leaves the field. Just more link climbing, which probably goes into this last one. I think this is the last one. Nope, not the last one. But he gets a link climb into Golem Inverted Domain. 2 Earth monsters, 2+. Your co-link monsters are unaffected by monster effects activated on your opponent's field. Very specific. Monsters your opponent controls must attack this card if able. This gives it what, 600? So it goes over 3,000, which is, yeah, pretty decent for sure. Okay, once per turn, you can discard 1 Cybers. This is actually a pretty decent floodgate. It's kind of underrated. You can discard 1 Cybers monster, draw 1 card. Pretty cool because if this gets discarded, like you get to search like any card, like the Pebble Dog. So very, very nice. If this co-linked is destroyed, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. So this is like a really half-decent boss monster. A lot of different ways. Like your opponent's gonna have to shuffle this back into the deck, obviously. But the fact that this is gonna be co-linked means it's unaffected by monster effects. It's very difficult to get over. Like this is about as good as it gets when it comes to a link monster. And I can't really think of any decks other than that Infinitrax monster I was just looking at that is like a boss monster from the link perspective. I'm down for this. And this is a link 4 if you want to go all the way up there. Up, down, left, right. Kind of reminds me of Firewall Dragon. Okay, and you can only use a 3rd effect of this card once per turn. Monsters your opponent controls must attack this card. Again, I think that's awesome. Because that means they're not going to be able to go into Zeus, like all that kind of stuff. They're going to have to just fight into this. 3,200 attack is pretty cool for a link 4 as well. Once per turn during damage calculation involving this card and your opponent's monster, you can send 1 Earth monster from your hand to the graveyard. Your opponent loses 200 attack. Also, its effects are negated. The negated effects is also like pretty good because if your opponent has like a boosted attack for whatever reason, they won't have it at that point. When your opponent activates an effect that targets a link monster you control, you can negate that effect, and if you do, destroy it. So targeting protection is always nice. Yeah, I mean, that's just, again, your opponent has to really deal with these cards, and they're unaffected by monster effects more than likely. I'm liking it. Gravity Balance. This is interesting because I'm thinking of the trap card, Gravity, whatever. Gravity Bind. This is always treated as a Golem card. I don't know why they don't just call it Golem Balance, but okay. You can target 2 of your Earth monsters with the same name that are banished or in your graveyard. Special summon them in defense position, but their effects are negated. Also, their attack becomes 0. Also, destroy them during the end phase, which doesn't matter. You're just going to try to like spam out as many of these link monsters as possible. And the fact that the Crystal Heart brings them back really helps out in those plays too. If a GGolem monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card instead. It's almost like literally like borderline a soul charge, which is great for a deck that only relies on link plays. I'm impressed. I don't think this is like the most meta deck. It's not tier 0, but there's certainly like no bad cards. And when you start an archetype with no bad cards, it can only get better. And I'm saying like every single one of these cards is pretty darn good. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.